Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Now I know I've been doing a lot of ESP Home, and we were going to continue doing ESP Home, but today we're quickly going to go in and install HACS, or the Home Assistant Community Store, which will allow us to add some additional items in there that may not be part of the official add-ons for Home Assistant. So this is going to be a very quick one. We may install one or two items from there as well, but it's fairly simple and quick to go in, and I just want to get this out of the way before we continue setting up our home alarm system. So with that said, let's go in and take a look. There we go. So back in Home Assistant, before we begin, as you recall, if you guys are following along with me, we did install a couple of add-ons, but we're going to need one more add-on in here for the terminal. So to install that, we'll go back into the settings right here, then click on add-ons right here, and then go to the store. And once we're in the store, the item that we're going to look for is going to be the terminals. We can just type in terminal and it should show up right here. Now, as we can see, we have the advanced SSH terminal, so we'll just go through and hit the install button right here. Now, that'll go through, install that, and I'll get back to you as soon as that has finished. There we go. So that went in and installed the advanced terminal for us. And this will allow us to go through and access Home Assistant through SSH. Now, a couple of options in here. Because this is something that I will not commonly use, and I would highly recommend to you guys as well to not have this start on boot automatically, since you only need it when you actually want to make changes or do something. And having this enabled, especially if you're just using a username and password, just to avoid additional vulnerabilities for you. So I'd highly recommend just to turn this off, and then once you restart Home Assistant, it'll not automatically start up the add-on. So with that turned off, what we need to do is under the configuration, we need to supply it with a password in here as well. So I'm just going to add in a basic password just so it'll allow me to log in, hit save, and that's all the config we need right here. So I'll go through and hit the start button, and that'll go through and start the add-on for us. So if you click on the log file, it'll also give us a warning telling us that using a username and password is not a good idea, and they would prefer us to using a private key. However, like I said, I will not be using this, and it'll just be for installing the Home Assistant Community Store. So once everything is fully started, I did enable it to show in the sidebar as well. So we have the terminal option right here, and you see we can access it on this section right here. So fairly simple. Now, to install HACS, it's just run through a simple script, so it is extremely simple to set this up. I'll link the website down below, but all you'll do is you'll just go through and copy this one line right here. So we'll just do that, copy. Once we're back in the terminal, we'll just paste that command, make sure everything looks good, hit enter, and that'll run through and install the community add-ons for us. So right here, as you can see, it is extremely simple. Everything is complete. So now all we need to do is restart Home Assistant. So we'll just go through and restart that as well. There we go. So Home Assistant has restarted. There's a couple of more things that we need to do in order to get HACS working. So all we'll do is we'll go back into the settings section right here, and then under devices and services, we'll click right here, click on add integration. And now on this list, you should have the additional option for HACS to show up right here. So what we'll do is we'll click on it right here. This is for you to acknowledge the following information. So we can just acknowledge all of them. Please do not enable experimental features. This could cause a lot of weird configs, or the layout may look a lot different. So I would highly recommend not enabling this checkbox right here, and then just hit the submit button. The next step is going to be for you to authenticate or log in with your GitHub account to add this as an application. So it'll give you the link where you need to go in to authorize the device and a code right here. So we'll just copy that, click on the link right here. If you're already signed in, you may need to create an account if you don't have an existing one. But if you already have an account, you can just go ahead and sign in and then type in the code that is displayed on that device. So remember, I just copied the code that's right here. I'll just add that to the device activation right here. Click on continue. Then we just need to authorize HACS, and then we should be good to go. We can just close this right here. So you need to ask us to select an area. We don't need to select an area. We can just hit the finish button right here. And now you can see we have the HACS option right here. Now, if you run into this issue I have right here, as you can see that it shows just a different type of interface than everyone else has. If you click on clear filter, it shows you everything and just a single line. And maybe you want the more usual interface that you are used to when you click on hacks. It shows you integrations, front ends, automations, add-ons. Instead, the most likely reason is if you have your integration set to experimental features. So if we click on configure right here, please make sure you have the enable experimental features disabled and then submitted. Now, in some cases, you may need to restart Home Assistant. In my case, as you can see, it still hasn't updated. I may need to clear my cookies and cache for my browser in order for this to update. But if I open it up in Firefox, for example, and you'll see that it does load the normal page that everyone is used to. Just a quick note for everyone to actually keep in mind. So if we click on integrations, for example, it'll show you everything that we currently have installed or anything that was new. In this case, I don't have anything installed yet. So if we want to install something, we can click on explore and download repositories. So in here, you'll be able to search for the specific integration that you may want. In my case, I want to install Alarmo. Now, I do have an older video on this on how I set it up, but a lot has changed since that video. So I will be doing an updated video in the next few weeks. And now if we take a look, it gives us a lot of information of how to install it. If we want a custom card or anything, it'll supply us with a lot of information depending on the developer or the person that created that specific integration on the amount of documentation that's available to you. To go in and install this one, all we'll do is we'll hit the download button right here. And we need to select the version that we would like to install. So I'll just use the latest one, hit the download button, and that'll go through and install the integration for Alarmo. Now, once that has been completed, it'll just close that off. If we go back, you'll see that it is telling us that it's pending a restart. So again, what we'll do is we'll just go through and restart Home Assistant. And then once the restart has been completed, normally what we'll do is in order to gain access to Alarmo, we'll go through the exact same process of clicking on devices and services, add a new integration, and then we'll have Alarmo on our list right here. So click on it and then assign it to an area. If you really want to assign it to an area, hit the finish button. And now you'll see we have Alarmo right here. Now we will cover this in a future video. However, this was just a quick overview of how to get HACS up and running and installing a few items that's on that store right there. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. A quick one just to show you how to install everything. In the next one, we're going to continue working in ESP Home and adding a couple of sensors, and then we can work on adding that into our alarm integration. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.